Hi, and welcome to another episode of Fitness and Friends. I am your humble host, Dr. Bob Ruano. Today on the show, we have a very fit friend of mine who now, after having lost 150 pounds, is literally half the man he used to be. He's best known for his well-coiffed beard, his vast collection of Silky's shorts, and his penchant for homely pets. Of course, we're talking about George Seaman, my friend and yours. And here to tell us a little bit about his fitness journey is George himself. George, welcome to the Innovative Back Solutions Studios.
What's going on?
How was that intro?
It was good. It was good. I'm glad I didn't shave my beard today.
It's always tight, man.
It's
always
good.
tight. So before we kind of get into your story, which is impressive, I wanted to share with everyone how George and I, the bond that we have and the reasons that we've become so close. And that is this: George is single-handedly responsible for getting me to my first games appearance, CrossFit Games appearance, in 2015. Here's the story. It was 2014, I think maybe late spring, early summer, and we were doing a warm-up, which included a repeat of 3 burpees into a 15-meter sprint. And we had 10 or 12 of those under our belt, and I noticed out of the corner of my eye, George was flying. He was on that day. And an extra cup of coffee, perhaps.
Yeah.
And I couldn't let that happen. And so I found another gear, and I remember popping up from my third burpee to take off into that sprint, and pop! My Achilles just exploded. And so I thought perhaps that was, and George felt bad because he knew what I was doing. He knew I was chasing.
I still finished the lap though.
He was
I still finished
before he came back and checked on me. So from that point forward, we had less than a year before the games. I couldn't do anything really lower body, so I just handstand push-ups, chest to bar pull-ups, muscle-ups. It was really all I could do, so I doubled down on those movements. And as it turns out, in the open and in the qualifier, both riddled with those movements that I just mentioned. So
you're welcome.
If not for the fact, and we've heard the expression, the obstacle is the way, I might not have started this CrossFit Games run. So thank you, George, for forcing me to rupture my Achilles.
You're welcome.
So tell us about this. So I didn't know you at 300 pounds.
No one did.
And it wasn't until a few years back that I think, I don't know if you circulated a picture, somebody circulated it, and I didn't recognize you. And so why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
So I was always a heavy kid, right? But I was active, right? Go out and play after school all day, all weekends, all that. I played sports. I played baseball, Little League, and then I was probably, I don't know, maybe 20 pounds heavier than everyone else, right? But like not bad.
Yeah.
Got to about 13, 14, 15, decided that working was better than playing sports, so I got a job. Fast forward.
Where was that job?
This is when I still lived in New Jersey.
Was your dad a baker or?
Yes.
He was a baker. Yeah. I remember the conversation because like I said, I was just so impressed by the story.
So both of my parents are overweight. My sister was is overweight. So it's what I knew, right?
Yeah.
I knew, my dad brought home baked goods, and I was a kid and I ate. But I was active enough that it wasn't ever bad, right? I knew I was overweight, but I wasn't like bad, right?
Sure.
So one thing will lead to another. You get older, you fall out of the sports. I actually got transferred to Gainesville for a job. I was managing the Red Lobster here in town.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. And I didn't know anyone, and for lack of better words, I just got depressed. And work and home, playing video games, eating awful.
Those cheese biscuits will do it to you.
Cheese biscuits,
those
yes.
Damn things.
You don't want to know how bad they are. And then, one day, like I knew I was gaining weight. I knew I was gaining weight, but I always thought that I carried it well, right? And I just avoided the scale. And then like one day, for some reason, I just bought a scale, stepped on, it was 295 pounds. I was like, wow. It happens fast.
Yeah.
It didn't happen fast.
Yeah.
But you don't realize, as it's happening. And I just realized then, I was like, oof, I'm not going to get to 300 pounds.
Okay.
And I just decided that day.
So that was a hard line for you right there.
Yeah, I just told myself, like, and again, like I wasn't ever like a crazy active person, and I hadn't been active probably in 10 years.
How old were you at this point?
24, 25.
Okay.
Yeah, about that.
Got it.
So I just moved here in town. I lived in a condo right behind the mall. And it was weird. They had just built a brand new gym at the bottom of, like literally at the bottom of my staircase. And nobody was ever in there.
Right.
Like I literally could see it from my front door. So I started to go in there and I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And literally for months, I would go in before work, after work. There was a treadmill, an elliptical, and one of those like universal things. And for hours.
No kidding.
Hours. If I got off at work at 4 o'clock, I was in there till 10 o'clock. I literally would just do like a minute on the treadmill, a minute on the elliptical, and go back and forth at like one speed.
Okay.
And I did that for months. And I lost 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds. I probably lost about 40 pounds just doing that.
Yeah. Hey, you have a picture, maybe of the picture that I first saw of you.
Yeah.
Elio, can you pull that picture up of George? I think he's holding some sort of fancy drink, so we can see what we're looking at here. No,
that's not a fancy drink. That's a good one, though.
That's a good one. That's for later. That's a different segment.
Yeah.
Not that one either.
No, that's not. Yeah. That's good though. That's good. The beard, it's good.
Well, I apologize for the technical difficulty. We're going to come across this picture of George.
That's not me either. That's not me either.
I don't think you sent it.
I thought I did.
No.
I could have swore I sent it to Farrah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, George, continue on and forget those pictures you just saw. We're going to get to those.
Yeah. So
Elio, you feel bad. Don't worry about it.
So plus I ate terribly, right? I just ate convenience fast food all the time. So I tried to clean up my diet, and when you don't really know a lot about, diet and stuff, at first it was just lean cuisines and, Weight Watcher meals and stuff, diet this and diet that. And I lost 30 or 40 pounds, pretty quickly. I mean, you're almost 300 pounds. It just falls off, right? Okay. But I knew I needed more, right? And then, like I'd said to you before, I didn't know anyone in town, right? Because I was just working. So I joined Gainesville Health and Fitness Club. And again, I didn't know what to do, right? I knew I needed to do more than what I was doing, but like I've never been the kind to just go to the gym and write my own workout or whatever. Right. So I started doing classes. Yeah. I did spin class, which was awful. And then I met Andy Farina, who's very well known in town. He used to teach sports conditioning class on Wednesday nights, which became my favorite thing in the world. That was kind of a high intensity interval training. Yeah. Hour long, just sweat pouring. He taught a boot camp class. They used to have that rig out in the back there. I did that forever. Yeah. I did that 3 or 4 years and probably dropped another 30 or 40 pounds from that.
So now we're getting close to low twos. 200
pounds. I latched on to Andy. Andy, I tell everyone this, Andy was my first mentor, advisor.
Yeah, I mean, he's a masters athlete guy as well.
Yeah. Now he runs like 100-mile races. Yeah, like he kind of fell into that. Yeah, because he used to do so we all kind of formed like a little group. There were like 10 to 15 to 20 of us that just started taking the same classes and all this. And then we kind of said, well, we want to do something different. So we started doing mud runs. And that was my first like competitive that I had done since like high school sports or Little League or whatever. We did Warrior Dash,
Tough Mudder,
Savage Race. You just go around and roll around in the mud and climb obstacles and stuff. And we did, there was probably a good 2-year stretch where we did one or two a month. Yeah.
So now it shifts from something that you feel motivated, like you have to do, and now it's become something you enjoy doing.
Oh yeah, I had fun because we were training specifically for it.
Yeah.
You know, so and you got the, you know, from going from a class where, you know, like when you and I sort of met, right? When you take a class, if there's no best score, best time, you kind of know who in the class is around your level or whatever, and they might not know you're competing, but you're competing
for sure.
You know,
and I think you know, Peloton, they've clung on, they globbed onto that model because, you know, you can be on your bike, on your Peloton bike at home, but you're in a class with hundreds of other people that you can kind of track down. And
so I kind of got addicted to that. You know, like I never won anything, but like where I placed in my age group and everything. So we did, you know, probably 30 of those. Yeah. We traveled all over the state of Florida for them. And then I think I was telling you, we found Goruck, which I don't know if anyone knows, it's either a 12 or a 24-hour endurance event, where it's led by a former Special Forces sergeant or whatever they're called. Yeah. And you're pretty much kicked in the junk for 12 hours or 24 hours. Yeah. It's not competitive, but again, you're competing against yourself. You know?
Well, yeah, that is a test of sort of grit and mental toughness.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because you can quit.
Yeah.
You like they don't want you to quit, but they're really trying to break you. Yeah. Right? Like they want to get that where you think you can't go anymore, but you can. Right. So Andy Farina again. We all signed up for this 20. We jumped right into it because, you know, a 12-hour event, the 24-hour events. All of our first events was a 24-hour event here in town, and it was awful. Yeah, you know. But I remember towards the end of the event, you know, you spend 24 hours with people and you're bonding and everything because you have to, right? You start making friends. And this is where I met Joe Lewis, Jamie Baldwin, Ulysses Meja, and Bobby Maz.
Yeah, those are the OGs right there.
Exactly, yeah. And I just realized, I was like, these guys and this girl are just crushing all these physical events. Like, not events, but like get from point A to point B. Where I'm dying and they're, you know, give me more weight. You know, you start to talk about, you know, where do you work out? What do you do? Blah, blah, blah. And the overall theme was I kept hearing about the gym in town go primal, right? And up until this, I was still doing the group fitness stuff or the boot camp stuff. And I was like, man, like I need to get there. I need to figure this out. I got to find it. And then at that time, the overall connotation or the I guess the thinking of that gym was you have to be in amazing shape. Yeah. There's a tryout to get in. And the owner of the gym, because I didn't even know who it was at the time, will tell you if you can work out at his gym or not. And I was like a year ago, I was doing like a minute on a treadmill and like, you know, so I called and I spoke to, I think Christine was at the time, that was Vince's sister. And they set up my appointment. Right. I was like, I'm petrified. And I remember I met Chris and I went through the workout and I was fine. Yeah. And then, you know.
Then you became a fixture.
I became a fixture. It's funny because I actually talked to Chris this morning and I'll be 9 years there this August, I think. Yeah. And again, you know, you know, it gives you an opportunity every day to be a little more competitive, you know. And like I said, the story how we like we had met before then, right? But like,
of course,
we're forever bonded. Yeah, that I helped carry you to Karashay's car.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
You know,
I've told that story, and I really do think of it that way. That you know, that if not for all the time that I put into those movements, those gymnastics movements, you know, maybe I'm not going to my 5th CrossFit Games this summer.
Well, you're welcome.
Well, that's awesome. And now, what period of time did we lose this 150 pounds? So, because I think that's what I want to get across here is that moves like this, like making it as you're getting close to 300 pounds, saying, okay, I got to get this off. It doesn't happen overnight.
No.
And as much motivation as you may have, motivation is not enough.
Sure.
So what was it for you? I think, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you found a competitive aspect to what it is you were doing.
Let's see. So I probably, when I got like serious about like, okay, I'm not going to gain any more weight, I was probably 26 or 27, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it probably took me 6 years total, probably like 6 or 7 years, I would say, to go from the 295. And I still remember the day that I hit 199. Because I put it on Facebook. I've got a Facebook app that tells you what you posted to Facebook that day, forever. And it was probably about 6 or 7 years ago. But through that whole time, I constantly had to evolve what I was doing. Yeah. Because you plateau. Right. So like after a while, I knew just going to the apartment gym wasn't enough. Yeah. And then I did the sports conditioning stuff with it. I knew that wasn't enough. Yeah. For me, it wasn't enough. I was getting complacent, right? We started doing the mud runs, and I got that little itch about being competitive and everything. So then I knew Go Primal was a place that I could, 'cause at that time, 6, 7, actually, no, I just said 9 years ago, CrossFit wasn't. No. It wasn't what it is now at all. No. So like.
It wasn't East Coast yet.
Yeah. So at 31, because I guess that'd be 9 years ago, I didn't have an outlet, but I knew that I enjoyed it, and I knew that it was I got better. I was losing weight. My body was changing in ways it had never done before, because like I don't think I'd ever done a deadlift, right? If you do weight room in high school, right? I was 12. Yeah. And now I'm 31, right? So that was a new experience doing it that way, and it was just different. It was different. It was something different every day. It was evolving. Yeah.
You mentioned something that you said your family is heavier set.
Sure.
But you share the same genetics. Yeah. And I think that says a lot about what we're capable of. Tapping into the epigenetics and and letting it kind of flourish.
Yeah, and like for me, I forget the exact term of it, but I gain weight easily. I just do.
You said over quarantine when the gyms were closed, you struggled a little bit.
Yeah. I so the gym was closed, and I was working out with a good friend of ours, Omer. Yeah. He had built a gym in his garage, and his girlfriend Nicole is a next level athlete, and she would just crush us for a while. And I stayed in shape. Probably the good first 3 or 4 months. And then as the gym reopened, my job got hard. It took more time and more strain on me. Yeah. And I lost the motivation to go to the gym. I was going once or twice a week. Right. And I've been a 5 or 6 day guy for years, and I wasn't eating bad, but I wasn't eating good. And then it was probably just this past December, I had gotten back from a trip, and I told my girlfriend, I was like, I got to make a change. I just feel awful. I just feel sluggish, and I'm sore every day, and that's not me. And I stepped on the scale, and I was 215 pounds. Okay. And that was the first time in 10 years that I'd been over 200 pounds. And I had a moment of
anxiety.
I cried. Yeah. I'll admit it. I literally, because I'd worked so hard for so long and sacrificed so much, right? And put so much time and effort into it, that to see that, to know that I let myself go that bad, that fast, I was like, I'm done. Yeah. So I think now I weighed myself yesterday. I was I'm 190. Yeah. So I've lost.
And again, we're not to put too much emphasis on the number on the scale.
Oh yeah.
But I think we all have our own. Our own kind of tail of the tape, if you will.
Exactly. Yeah. So I used to be obsessed with the scale. To go from how bad I was to what I considered my previous peak, I was addicted. I wanted to know where I was at. Yeah. Because I had that in my head, I had a comfort zone, right? A 3 to 5 pound of I'm fluffy or I'm fit, right? This time I'm doing the macros again and everything, but I'm doing it differently. I'm eating a lot more than I was before. before the lowest that I got was probably like 170. It was lean. All the abs and the veins and everything. But I settled in around 180. And this time, I think I'm good where I am. Like, I feel stronger than I've ever been before. I'm moving weights that I've never moved before. My endurance is better than it was. My I've always been...
You're the cardio guy.
Yeah. I'm above average. Right? That hasn't gone away. You know? So I think I'm good. I think I'm good where I'm at. I think I'm always going to have a stigma of, like, wanting to know where I'm at in my weight.
Sure.
But it's not an everyday thing where I wake up and I have to get on the scale. You know, so
the mirror kind of tell you what you're doing.
You know, and it's weird too, because like I'll be 40 in December and I've been fit, different levels of fit for probably the last 10, 12 years. But like my understanding of it or my acceptance of it has changed over the last few years of like where I want, like, when I first started, I was like, I want to be as fit as I can be, as skinny as I can be. Not skinny, but like, I want to be shredded, right? And then you realize what it takes to get there and what you have to do and how you have to maintain that. And then, you know, you still want to balance a social life and a home life. And, you know, it's a lot of balls up in the air at once, right? Something has to sacrifice. It just does, in my opinion. And then things fall by the wayside and things get better. So like now, like I've been doing what I've been doing for the last 6 months. I'm only in the gym 4 to 5 times a week only. But I was 5 to 6 times, 2 a days on a day off. So I was probably going 8 times a week. Now I'm 4 times.
Well, like you say, you're pushing 40 now. I know that for me, it's a dosage issue for me.
You know,
4 days of like pretty good going at it, and then
and I'm sorry, I mean, but like I can go really hard now. Like I'm not walking into the gym feeling like I'm carrying an extra 30 pounds of soreness. You know, I've got some aches and pains every now and then, but like 4 to 5 times is good. No, for sure. And I'm not doing the, you know, Chris likes to call me a cardio head because I just like I want to do a 45-minute beatdown every day. But I finally, after 9 years of being there, and before that, I've realized you can't do that every day. I can't do that every day. So I'm doing the strength class every now and then. He brought back strongman and stuff like that.
Well, I think it's a matter of you're training for longevity. You're training for quality of life and not for the best score on a Tough Mudder or something like that. That's good. So this past year, you became a furry father. Yes,
I did.
This is a lovely animal. I
love my dog so much.
She's a beauty. What's her name?
Olivia.
Can we show a picture of it? There's Olivia.
She's adorable.
Look at that face. Unbelievable. She
looks like me.
You know, so I first saw this dog, and I was like, you're right, it has humanistic qualities. And
it's ridiculous.
I couldn't put my finger on it exactly. And then the other day, something popped up in my feed, and it was an aha moment. Elio, can you push the picture, put them side by side? Yeah. Can you do a side by side with that?
I'll do that now.
Okay. So, am I off on this?
Planet of the Apes.
Was I drinking too much? They look.
It's similar. It's similar.
We'll do a side by side here in a second. We can see it in the studio. But yeah, but you mentioned she's almost like got a jaw and eyebrows.
Great. She's got eyebrows. She's got a human bottom lip. It's great.
She's got like an RBF face there too.
She's always angry.
Yeah,
always mad.
Oh my god!
But it's great though because she's so just a little backstory. I had a dog from when she was 1 till she was 17.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah, she lived forever, and we put her down last February, right at the beginning of the height of COVID. Right. She just gotten bad. She was going to the bathroom in the house. Like we'd have to carry her outside to go to the bathroom. Her back legs just went out. She lost like 17 pounds in the last year.
Gosh.
Old, right? So we had decided that we weren't going to get another dog, me and my girlfriend. And February, March, April, May went by, and Holly, my girlfriend, was just working from home. and like she was told, hey, you're going to be from home for the time being. And then we decided, hey, let's just go get another dog. This is a perfect time.
Yeah.
Because she's home indefinitely.
Right.
Get a new dog, get used to the house, so on and so on. So we went to, it is pretty good. It's good. I don't want to know what you were looking at that Planet of the Apes popped in.
I don't know why this cracks me up.
It's good. But so we went to Hale's Angels, and they were having like an adoption day, and she stuck out to me. So it's funny. I should have sent you a picture of her before, because this is her grown into it. Imagine this, because she was about 10 pounds lighter than this. Bob's crying right now. He's cracking himself up.
There's somebody for everybody. I love it.
She was 10 pounds lighter than this. Had scruff everywhere. She had scruff everywhere.
Yeah.
She had a little like faux hawk. Like someone just let her go, and we just fell in love with her.
Yeah. Do you have a picture of that? That's a picture I want to see.
I should have brought it. I'll send that to you.
Okay.
Because
that's awesome, though.
I think she's adorable now.
Yes.
She was kind of ugly when we first got her. She was. I can admit it. I have a thing for ugly dogs. Like my last dog looked like a gremlin.
I said pension. You have a pension for. But you're right. That's her uniqueness.
And she looks like me.
That's awesome.
It's great. It's a child I'm probably never going to have.
I love it. So, George, this has been like an amazing story. I learn more and more about you every time. And, unfortunately, I haven't had a rupture or anything, although I have ruptured multiple things since. But I haven't had a rupture to get back to the games.
Huh?
Yeah. So, I feel blessed. So, I have 2 final questions for you, George. Man. Yeah. And normally we get, as I said earlier, very existential in our question. But I'm going to throw a curveball at you.
Gotcha.
All right. So George knows more about CrossFit than I do. He knows the players. He knows who the top competitors are. And so I had a question for him, and this is it. What CrossFit athlete, present or past, do you most closely identify with, and why?
So I thought long and hard about this, and I think present day, not past, present day Ben Smith.
Ben Smith. He is the champion in 15, 16.
Yeah, he won.
Not 15.
Froning
16.
Went team.
Yeah.
And he beat Fraser. Yeah.
Final event. I remember this.
So current day Ben Smith, right? He's a little old, still young, right? Shows up to every event.
Yeah.
Does well.
Yep.
He's not going to win anything anymore. Most likely, he's not going to win anything. Always respectable.
Yeah. Doesn't
ever come in last. And, if the event is right, he'll have some moments. But he just shows up and does his work, and
so potentially an overlooked but never underachieves. I like that, George. That's good. That's good. Hey, I have a final question for you. If you could choose one exercise and one exercise only to do for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Squats.
Squats.
Easy.
I have a follow-up question to that. In doing said squats, will you be wearing those silkies? You all can thank me for that visual. Are the silkies coming back this summer?
They are. So
I heard there was talk. I heard there was rumblings. Okay, there's the silkies. They are short shorts that are way too short. Look at Coach Amanda there, too.
Aww.
We had her on the show about a month ago.
Yeah. So, I let myself go a little bit. So I'm not quite back to silky shape yet. But Chris and I had this talk, and he's actually making them for the gym.
And what shoes they wear.
Oh, yeah.
There she is, Amanda, Coach Amanda. Awesome.
So, yes, the silkies will be. Because, this. When you're a fit person, especially guys, you have large quads. It's an issue. It's an epidemic.
It's an epidemic.
It is. So the silkies are great.
Is there a fund? Is there something that what's the?
There needs to be, because pants for large guys, they're expensive. It's almost not fair.
It's a challenge.
So
it's a challenge. So you talk about not having a challenge in your life. There you go. It's all about the quads. Hey, George. thank you for joining me today.
This was fun.
That was a lot of fun. And I hope you enjoyed that as well. If so, give it a like, a share, subscribe on the YouTubes and whatnot. If you take anything away from this, I hope it's this. My friend George here, yeah, he shedded 150 pounds, but it didn't happen overnight. As he said, 6, 7, 8 years of grinding. And like I said, the motivation is a good kickstart, but you've got to find a different why that is going to sustain you to get up day in, day out and do what you need to do. Hope that helps. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for joining us.